Hi everyone. Welcome back to the top 10 list in the world. The nature around us is full of amazing features and facts you might not know. One of the best ways to appreciate the earth around us is to learn more about how we interact with nature. Here are the top 10 unbelievable facts about nature. Number 10. World's fastest moving and most powerful waterfall. An interesting fact about Niagara Falls is it is the world's fastest moving waterfall. It is also the most powerful waterfall in the world. About 700,000 gallons of water flow down Niagara Falls every second at around 100 miles per hour. It was formed from glaciers over 12,000 years ago. It is now 188 feet tall with a depth of 170 feet. 2 million liters or about 600k gallons travel through Niagara Falls every day. It can be as high as 100 meters per hour, making it one of the fastest moving natural phenomena on Earth. Many different theories surround its formation, but all agree that the Ice Age shaped these more than 12,000 years ago when massive chunks broke off North America into Lake Erie, leaving large cracks which started to fill up, creating what we know today. Number 9. Mysterious Pyramids of Giza. Each limestone or granite block that makes up the Great Pyramid of Giza weighs 2.5 tons. And there are 2.3 million of them. How exactly the locals were able to lift those stones and form the perfect pyramid is up for debate. Even with the highly advanced technology, science has not been able to replicate these pyramids. The only thing they've been able to say is that they were constructed around 2504 BC. These are complex creations, both in regards to accuracy and architecture. The Great Pyramid of Giza took an estimated time of over 20 years to complete. The Great Pyramid of Giza was the tallest building in the world for 3,800 years. The Lincoln Cathedral in Lincoln, England, which was completed in 1311, was the first building to surpass the height of the Great Pyramid. The Great Pyramid of Giza is aligned to true north within 1/10 of a degree. Scientists are still unable to explain this ancient Egyptian brilliance. Number 8. Humans eat only 200 types of plants. Scientists estimate that there are more than 400,000 species of plants on Earth, at least half of which are edible for humans. Indeed, it is entirely possible that we are capable of eating 300,000 plant species. And yet we consume just a tiny fraction of that. This means there are up to 299,800 delicious and nutritious plant species that we are missing out on. This is crazy but sadly understandable. Traditional farming requires plant species to be selected for their weather and pest resistance, and ease of being intensively farmed and transported. There is a lot of tasty fruit and veg varieties out there which don't get through this selection process. But, in all the cultures across the world combined, we eat only 200 of those edible plants. Amazingly, about 50% of the plant calories we do eat come from just 3 species: rice, wheat, and maize, corn. Number 7. There are more trees on Earth than stars in the Milky Way. Scientists estimate there are between 200 and up to 400 billion stars in our galaxy, while there are an estimated 3 trillion trees on Earth. This means that there are around 420 trees for every human on the planet. The scientists didn't have to count the world's trees one by one. But they still needed 2 years, data amassed by thousands of tree huggers, and a good chunk of supercomputer time to add up all those oaks and palms and pines. The team combined actual tree counts made in wooded areas around the world with satellite pictures. By counting actual trees and comparing them to satellite pictures, they learned how to predict the number of trees in places where satellite views were the only source of information. The result is the first full coverage map of the entire planet's tree density, and one of the very few estimates that sees the trees and not just the forest. Like the stars, trees live a long time and are truly important for life. Number 6. Humans only consume 1% of Earth's water. There is an abundance of water on the planet, but sadly, only a small amount can even be used by humans. In the seas, soils, ice caps, and floating in the atmosphere, the remaining 99.7% are. Nonetheless, much of the 0.3% that is available is unattainable. Any of the water that human beings use comes from rivers. The observable water bodies are referred to as water from the surface. In fact, most fresh water is discovered underground as soil moisture and in aquifers. Number 5. The best place to see rainbows. If you're an avid rainbow gazer and want to get your fill of the beautiful phenomenon, look no further than the state of Hawaii. A study published by the American Meteorological Society in 2021 noted that the area's mountains produce sharp gradients in clouds and rainfall, which are key to abundant rainbow sightings. Air pollution, pollen, and a large amount of cresting waves also help to put Hawaii at the top of the list when it comes to rainbow quantity and quality. When we view a rainbow on the Earth's surface, we are only seeing half of it at a time. When soaring high above a rainbow in an aircraft, sometimes you can see a rainbow in its entirety as a 360-degree. Rainbows form their signature colors through atmospheric optical effects when raindrops refract and reflect light, just like a prism does. The raindrop bends the waves of light as they enter the droplet, where they reflect once inside, and then refract again upon exit. Various colors are seen in a rainbow because each color wavelength refracts at different angles. Number 4. A cloud can weigh more than 1,000,000 pounds. Clouds are not as light and fluffy as they appear. In fact, researchers have found that a single cloud weighs about 1.1 million pounds. How do they know? Well, that number is calculated by taking the water density of a cloud and multiplying it by its volume. Fortunately, the cloud can still float at that weight because the air below it is even heavier. While most clouds we see are made up of tiny liquid water droplets, there is one common type of cloud that's made of ice, cirrus. These clouds are collections of ice crystals that form in the upper levels of the atmosphere when water vapor deposits onto tiny particles like dust or smoke. Strong winds then shred these clouds apart, giving them their iconic wispy appearance. Number 3. Owls don't have eyeballs. What they have instead are better described as eye tubes. Since they can't move these tubes back and forth, owls have developed incredible neck flexibility to be able to see the world around them. They can turn their heads a whopping 270 degrees, whereas humans can only manage about 180. Owls have binocular vision similar to humans, meaning they can see an object with both eyes at the same time. This gives owls a great ability to judge height, weight, and distance. As a result, owls have a special blood vessel system in their heads to keep fresh blood circulating to the brain when a quick head turn cuts off circulation. Finally, owls have 3 eyelids. One is for blinking, one is for sleeping, and one is for keeping their eye tubes clean. Number 2. Lobsters don't die of old age. Lobsters do not show typical signs of senescence. For them, life just goes on until an inevitable end. Unlike people, as they age, lobsters do not weaken, and they continue to grow, feed as normal and reproduce. They can also regenerate limbs if they lose them. A study of American lobsters suggested that the reason these animals do not seem to slow down in old age is due to them having an infinite supply of the enzyme telomerase throughout their cells. Like a cellular fountain of youth, this enzyme can extend a cell's life by regenerating telomeres, putting off senescence. Humans and other organisms also produce telomerase. But for us, many of the cells that form our bodies lack telomerase activity. Telomerase is expressed in embryonic tissues, stem cells, and tumor cells, however, which corresponds with their capacity to multiply over an extended period. While lobsters may not live forever, there are a small number of organisms that have found ways to become biologically immortal, such as the appropriately named, immortal jellyfish. Number 1. There's a company that turned dead humans into reef. Have you ever thought that your dead body could contribute to a thriving marine ecosystem? Yes, you hear that right, because a Florida-based firm, Eternal Reefs, offers green burials making reefs out of dead people. Eternal Reefs combines a person's cremated remains with pH-neutral, environmentally friendly concrete. They make a reef ball, which is a type of artificial reef, of that mixture. Before being lowered to the seafloor, each reef can be personalized with handprints and bronze memorial plaques. So far, the organization has sunk about 3,000 memorial reefs in 25 locations ranging from Texas to New Jersey. The cost of green burial is similar to that of a traditional funeral in the United States, falling between $4 to $7.495. That's it for the top 10 list this time about 10 amazing facts about nature. Nature is defined as our environment. It is the interaction between the physical world around us and the life within it, like the atmosphere, climate, natural resources, ecosystem, flora, fauna, and humans. Nature also includes non-living things such as water, mountains, landscape, plants, trees, and many other things.